So this video is going to look at how to access password policy and how to change password policy and what the implementation of password policy is used for. So to access the password policies, we go ahead and we click Start, Control Panel, and we click System and Security, and then under Administrative Tools, we click Local Security Policy. Alright, now we're into the Local Security Policy editing window. You'll notice it looks a lot like the Microsoft Management Console. If you go ahead and click on Local Policy or Account Policies, Password Policy, you now have access to the password policy individual objects. So, what this allows us to do is edit certain information about passwords on this computer and what they must have for complexity requirements, how long does a password last, how many passwords do you have to use before you can reuse the same password over again. So let's look at the first one, enforce password history. So if we go ahead and double click on that, right now it does not keep a password history. If you ever wonder what these do, if you go ahead and click on explain, you get a very detailed explanation of what these values mean and what they do. So on this particular one, this right now is 0. If we change this to 5, what that means is every time a user, after we set an expiration policy on a password, so after, let's say, 90 days, a user's password expires. At the end of 90 days, they reset their password. It has to be a different password than their last password. They have to do that 5 consecutive times, so they have to set 5 new passwords before they can go back and use the first password over again. So what this allows you to do is this allows or prevents people from using the same password over. So after 90 days, they just turn around and use the same password. So let's go ahead and hit apply. So 5 passwords remembered. So maximum password age. So this again is the passwords expire in 90 days. So we'll set it to 90 days. This is how you set how many days until your password expires. Again, very detailed explanation right here. We'll go ahead and hit apply. Password must meet complexity requirements. Right now that is not enabled, and I don't plan on enabling it on this virtual machine. In a enterprise type setting, you would enable this. What this requires is that they have to have a 6-character or longer password. It has to have 3 of the following 4 categories in the password. So it has to have an uppercase letter or an English lowercase letter or a digit or a non-alphanumeric character. And you have to have 3 of those 4 items in a password. Store password using reversible encryption. So basically this means that it stores the password encrypted, because you can go into certain DLL files if you search for them and find the passwords for an individual's file, and this kind of encrypts them to prevent that. And then the last one we have here is a minimum password age. So that means that passwords can be changed immediately. We can set this so that after I set a password, I have to wait 1 day before I can change it, or 5 days, or 10 days. And minimum password length, again pretty self-explanatory. That means that the password has to be at least 6 characters, or it has to be at least 3 characters. So, you know, the more characters, the more complex the password, the harder it is to crack. So that's just a very brief overview of how you can set password policy on a individual terminal in Windows 7.